Yeah, it's muted. All right, sorry, that probably hurt my viewership. You know what that is?
So anything you said, just say it again, okay?
I didn't say too much important, I don't think. See that? Y'all have these anywhere? These are called oak galls. It's like a burrow that's created on an oak by these certain type of wasps. Y'all seen those ever? I know there's a special tree that has those all over it. You know, you ever seen those before? Oak galls? I'll make sure you like this video because I'm about to show you a little bit about those. I'm going to, Mike, welcome. I'm going to saw one of these real quick into a couple pieces. Now I also got this oak, red oak bark here, and we're going to do a little experiment. I'm going to show you how it is. I need to keep this water warm so that it'll work during the course of this live stream. All right, so I've got this kind of clamped in here. Let me get my saw. Thank you, Pilato. I saw you went live when I woke up in the middle of the night to go use the bathroom. Now, I don't think there's one side of this saw that's going to be appropriate for this because the grain is wonky on this thing, right? Loosen this spice up a little. And I'm going to have to like wet the gall, I think, for you to understand like kind of the way the grain looks. It's like a burl a lot, but it's these wasps, and they make these nests. They've lived. I had to go somewhere 100 miles away, basically, to find this tree. And the reason I did that was because these galls are extremely rich in tannins. So I basically can get a whole bunch of weight of tannin from just a few of these. Let me show you what the inside looks like.
You know, an in-camera audio, we're just walking back over here.
What?
You're doing in-camera audio right now, so I'm just going to flip this around one more time.
Oh, that's why I'm not getting good numbers.
Don't do that.
What?
It's
I
there.
just want to make sure. You getting lights on there?
No, I'm not getting anything on this receiver. Is it the right receiver? It has to be right.
There's schmutz on there. All right. Checkity check, check. All right, here's what the inside looks like dry, right? That's the inside of an oak gall. Now, these were used to make the ink that penned the Constitution of the United States. So they make a very nice tannin. I have a whole bag of them here. So if you are trying to make wood-based ink, all you need is a few of these, some hot water, and possibly something that's ferrous like a nail or something like that, and you can make some really good black ink. So yeah, this is the inside of that oak gall right there. This came from a very old shade tree in the southern part of Virginia. I happen to know where this tree is. It's the only tree I've ever seen that's that rich in galls. They're all over the tree. Now I made this mistake. I knew where this tree was about 10 to 15 years ago, and I collected a bunch of these oak galls and I left them in my wood shop. And the wasps hatched out of these things and ate holes through all of my lumber, including what's now my fleshing beam here, has holes in it because I brought these things home. So if you bring these home, make sure that you either soak them in some sort of alcohol to kill the wasp larvae on the inside, or that you freeze them or something, because they will hatch on you and they will destroy all of your lumber. Just want to say that. Just a little disclaimer. All right. So I got these little pots here. I'm going to cut one more side off of this so we can get a little more exposed surface area. Then I'm going to pour hot water on this oak gall, and I'm going to take some of this bark here, put it in the vise. I'm going to cut some of that off and put it in this water, put it in hot water, and we can see which one produced the most visible tannins. And I have a feeling it's going to be the bark, but that doesn't mean there's more tannin. It just means it's more visible tannin. Now, if you're a turner, you can turn some of the larger oak galls into, vessels and things like that. But like burl, they have a wonky grain direction. So it's very much like just a specific type of burl is what it is, really. It's a little tiny burl, see? All right, let's put it in there. Take this bark. Let me see if I'll break a piece off of this. Break a piece off. There we go. Doesn't get too difficult to break off. I got a bunch of stuff to do today on Dad's workshop. I gotta scud some hides. I had to take that lighter hide yesterday that I worked yesterday and put it into a liming bath, or basically in my case, lye bath. So that one's going to be absent today. I'm going to cut this bark into basically a few pieces. Probably should have sliced it in a different spot. It is red oak bark, I believe. I have a hard time, man, because red oak is like white and white oak is red. But my understanding is this is red oak. This was from I'm pretty good with my tree identification too. But you can see, I'll show you the inside of it so you can kind of see where it's tannin rich on the inner bark. Kind of hard to see in these pieces. Red oak bark is particularly thick. Let me show you one that you can really see the, here's a larger piece. All right, so when you look at the bark, you see the outer bark and inner bark. This inner bark, you see how it's reddish orange? It's very rich in tannins. So the way I extract my tannins is break this stuff up and then pour very hot water on it and let it steep for a very long time. And it gives me a good tannic bath. So we're going to test out whether this or the oak gall. It's not scientific at all because I didn't weigh them out. So might not have equal weights. Those oak galls though, woodworkers folks, you guys could probably do some inlay work with those and they would look really good. Just an idea. I'm an idea man, you know. You want fresher bark. Now I know when this tree was cut down, it was cut, but they had a, get off my couch. Get off my couch. Get off. Get up. Get off there. She's about to set up shop and hang out. Yes, bark tea versus gall tea. Now the gall can be made black if you add a ferrous metal too. So you can make that darker, but that's not my goal now. Let's zoom in on these two while we do this little not very scientific experiment. Push these back a little bit. And we're going to see, I'll put them aside, but we're going to put hot water on them and put them aside and see which one kind of produces the most visible tannins. That's probably all the water you want there. Those float a little bit. It's Mr. Wizard up in here today, pouring water on stuff. Happy New Year's, Carrie. Welcome back. Shout out, Carrie, friend of the program. Very generous donation before Christmas allowed me to do more live streams than I probably would have been able to do so. Carrie, if I had levels to my membership, Carrie would be at the very top level. I was thinking about that this morning. So Happy New Year to you, Carrie, and welcome. Welcome to everybody who's here. My name is Calvin. This is Dad's Workshop. Today, we're experimenting with two different kinds of tannins. You can almost see right now the bark is actually producing more visible tannic acid than the from the pore. You can kind of see how it's like a pinkish. I don't know if y'all can see that, how it's kind of getting a little pinkish, you know, orangish, and then the gall here is not. Now, I understand that the tannins in the gall may not be that visible. They may be almost invisible. And then when you tan with gall, you would end up with a very light, and I understand, kind of brittle leather, which is useful for certain things. You know, there's always applications for certain textures. So I wanted to do that. Oh, are we zoomed in super far? Let's just back out again so we can do more stuff. Do some more stuff. Now, what I got today is pretty much what I got every day. I want to bring out, I've got a piece of 15th century music in the house. It's actually the original piece. It's on my wall. And the black ink on that even the paper is parchment, which is made out of animal skin. And the black ink on there would have been made using this method. So all inks and pigments would have had to be made this way, essentially. I'm going to take this piece of bark. So if you collect these oak galls, do not leave them in your shop. Let's see how the cat bit through the bag. Do not leave them in your shop unattended, especially on a day like today where it gets warm. You will come outside and there will be thousands of wasps crawling on all of your wood, cutting holes into it. I know. I've done it. I know. I've done it. I have experienced it. Let's put these aside. Oak gall to the left, red oak bark to the right. Now I need to do a bunch of things. I probably need to go I forgot my brain solution inside. I left it inside. I need to brain all of the furs need brain emulsion on them, but the skins need to be scudded, which is hard work, but I got to do that. So that's what we do. Too low to see. Oh, hold on. What's too low to see? Oh, too low to see. Oh, we'll do an update. Here's the oak gall, right? You see the water is just kind of off white or off clear. I don't know what that is. Just barely. It's translucent. And then a check up on the red oak. You can see it's starting to become a darker pigment here. Very potent tannins in the oak bark. Oh, thank you. I'll use the water that I got to warm this brain emulsion up. Oh, thank you. Now I got to reactivate this stuff. It's cold, so I'm going to take what I have left in the, it's not apple juice, guys. It's brain juice. I got to add some hot water in there without boiling it. It's cold enough it shouldn't boil. I'm going to add it a little bit at a time. Yep, I forgot my brains. Can y'all see how it looks like milk? That's because of the emulsifier lecithin that is in the brain and the eggs. What lecithin does is emulsify oils and bead them and spread them out throughout a liquid suspension. I don't know. I didn't do that well in chemistry. I have to add water to warm it up. I can't do it cold. I also, there's a couple other things in here. I put patchouli in there. Just the smell is really good, so I just like that. And then I also put deer tallow. You know what tallow? Y'all know what tallow is, right? Do I need to explain to y'all what tallow is? It shouldn't get watered down. I'm just adding the water to just warm it up a bit because refrigerated, the tallow is going to be all solid in there. I can actually see some of the tallow. I look so frazzled. I'm looking at my YouTube. I'm looking at my feed. My God, I did do work before I came here. I had lots of like prep work I had to do. So probably why I look like that. So add a little bit more warm water to this. I look like a mad scientist. I'm just trying to get it up to kind of room temperature, which is what it is outside right now, around 70. Oh, yeah. I would think this is probably, emulsifier is probably college chemistry, you know, things like that, fatty acids. I had a bachelor's of arts. That's my degree, so I didn't do too much of that stuff. Thank God. Though I would like it now, I think. I don't know. Sometimes it seems like science teachers know how to make science unfun. Sometimes they know how to make it fun. But yeah, we talk about brains because this is not apple juice. It's definitely brain juice. We'll put that aside and we'll take out some skins. I noticed some things today. One of the things I noticed was that my skin, like my raccoon skin here, this is a hairless raccoon skin. Like this has been scudded and it's been in tannins for a long time. When I squeeze this out, it's clear. that tells me it's not really absorbing any more tannins. So what I'm going to do is probably put some brain emulsion on this after I scud it, and then dry it, stick it to a board with tallow or another thick room temperature fat, and then dry it, because I think it's done. I put it in the stronger tannins yesterday, or what I thought was stronger tannins, you know, and nothing happened. Nothing. So yeah, it's real warm here too. It's kind of, I think, kind of everywhere. What did I do with my scraper? Oh, there it is. I was about to start blaming Pilato, and he's here to blame this time, folks. Usually when I blame him, he's not even present. Like his name isn't even on the attendance sheet, and I blame him for stuff. All right, scudding this hide. This is a raccoon here. Oh man, that was bad. You don't want to do that. Don't do what I just did. Put your body weight down on it. You're not going to get much off when it's almost done. Just little bits. But it's important to do the due diligence and make sure you scrape off whatever scud is kind of remaining. I think this hide is done, guys. So what you're witnessing is the last time I'm really going to scrape it. It's really clean too. There's not flesh or fat or hair. Well, there's one spot with hair, and I can't get it out on the grain side. It'll probably not be used. The neck area here is the thickest, usually where the most scud is too, is on the neck. I am learning that I did not learn to scrape properly. So I'm trying to revise my scraping technique to be conducive to actually scraping material off of these hides. Yep, got to blame. There you see, Pilato, you're so important. Ava Rose just, she vouched for me. I blame you at least one time a stream for something. That's, you're always on my mind. Pilato, you're always on my mind, buddy. You're always on my mind. But it's because you keep losing my stuff, so stop doing that. Stop. I'm just kidding. Pilato doesn't lose my stuff from approximately 3,000 miles away. Whatever it is. How far is it from here to the other side of the country? From the right to the left coast. Ava's checking it right now, I know. I got Ava to Google stuff. You were always on my mind. 3,000. Whew. A lot of miles. That was a bad move right there. I slipped and put a cut, but it was right towards the edge. So that's one of the better places for that to happen. This doesn't need much more. This thing is done. Yeah, so this hide is, you're looking at pretty much a done piece of leather. What it needs is, I'm going to put it aside for a minute, and I'm going to put a brain emulsion on it when I'm done with these other ones. I don't want to put it on anything metal. If it touches metal, it'll get black spots on it and such. Don't want that to happen. Yeah, I run a lot, so I compare the number of miles to how long would it take me to run that much. I would say probably last year when I was running a longer distance, I was running about like a couple 100 miles a month. So it would take me like a year to run the distance, the equivalent distance. Oh, the flies are after me. Hold on. It's warm enough for the flies to be out. This is that red oak bark right here. This leather right here, we tan with red oak bark. So that's the type of tannin we get from that. Boom. I'd say at my peak though, it was like a few months peak running maybe. I actually have run 6,000 miles on a pair of shoes, and I realized I probably should get a new pair of shoes. I was like, my tires would probably be worn from that. So looks like I'm finding out that oak gall tannins are clear. Maybe Ava can Google that. Are the tannins from oak galls clear? And I can't see them because look, this is exactly the way it looked before. I don't think this is that old of one either. It was like off-white. And then look at the difference. See? Like this is visibly so much darker than that. Like if I was going by look, I would choose this. But I understand these things are like 50% tannins. They are for sure, like 40 to 50% at the weakest. Just wanted to bring that up. So that's not that kind of slightly unexpected. I thought maybe I did something wrong, or that the last gall I had was maybe old and had been sitting on the ground for a long time. Because some of the ones by that tree are years old. I can't tell the difference between if it's hatched and not hatched. But what happens is the little wasps put their larvae in there, and the tree basically creates a home around them, right? It builds wood, lignum, whatever you call the fibers in wood, around this wasp infection, and pumps in tannins in there because it's trying to fight it off. But what it's actually doing is providing a home for these little wasp larvae that hatch, and they don't fly. They only crawl. They look like they'll sting you too. They look like regular wasps. But I had to kill a whole bunch of them because they were destroying my wood. But they never stung me. At least not that I can recall. Someone would have to check, do oak gall wasps sting? You know, I don't know if they do or not. Quick search says yes. I think that's about the tannin coloration. So tannins aren't always visible. Though I did this the other day, I'm not going to lie. I took the oak. So I did this in my house as preparation for this because y'all know I used to be a teacher, so I did this kind of stuff. I took the water and I sipped it. I sipped it because it should make me pucker and want to spit it out if it's highly astringent. I didn't get that from it. It didn't taste highly astringent. So I was wondering why I just took a mouthful of wasp nest tea. You know, maybe maybe that was the elixir of life though. Now I'm gonna live to 100. You know. What do you think? They are medicinal. I know people have used the oak gall as traditional medicine. I think even in European traditional medicine, it was used for something like antibacterial things or something. Why only 100? 100 what? Pilato said, why only 100? 100 what? What did I say? I say a lot, Pilato, so I forget. Are we doing this again? Hey, somebody reported the live stream issues yesterday, so I got a notification today. YouTube is now acknowledging when their live streaming platform goes down. So I'm glad live streamers are complaining. It wasn't me, but I'm glad live streamers were complaining. And they're going to like, because it makes you look bad. Your viewers drop off and all of that. But yes, it was them. Confirmed it was on YouTube's end yesterday. So if that happens to any of y'all, Pilato or anybody else, where you're working on live stream and you see those numbers all of a sudden go way down, it is probably on YouTube. And they're starting to get reports and acknowledge those reports, which I appreciate. I'm putting my body weight down. Not as much on this because it doesn't really need it, but if I'm really trying to to bulldoze this material off, I want to use my body weight. Lean down. It's going to give you the best scrape on it. It's getting easier to remove this stuff now. I cut my thumb yesterday pretty bad, though, cleaning the scud off of this thing. I'm going to start going like this. Pop, pop. And that's it. Not touching it. So y'all see it's got one sharp edge and one dull edge. Usually I'll take the dull edge and kind of sweep off the scud. The sharp edge is what I actually scrape with. If you don't push right, you could cut right through the hide. So I started kind of with the dull side, and after a few slips, I used the sharp side after that. Oh, I'm live. Yeah, I was live yesterday. Yes, sir, I was. Flato asked, was I live yesterday? Yes, I was. First one of the new year, I believe. So you didn't miss too much. I was all flustered and it was around this time or maybe a little later that I went live yesterday. That's kind of bulldozing right there. Do y'all see how I just limit it to this spot? And like the real tanners, guys know what they're doing. Then they move it up like this on the beam and keep bulldozing until they take it all the way down to the edge. That's the most thorough way to do it. I do it the ADHD way. So I took that big ugly hide that I had yesterday that's not tanning evenly, and today I washed it with soap and water, and I make my own soap, so it's my own soap. Washed it again, flushed it with the hose, flushed it again. It was still brown stuff coming out. Then after I took it in here and I scudded it really thoroughly, I took it out and I put it in a lye bath. Immediately, when the hide hit the lye, the water turned this color. So whatever tannins were inside of it were immediately released by that sodium hydroxide. I'm sure Pilato knows what that is. Caustic soda is what is the old expression for it, like acetic acid, right? The layman's term for it would be caustic soda or lye. Dangerous, man. Don't play around with that stuff. It is possible to make yourself by leaching from wood ash, but you have to have ash mostly and not, it can't be like charcoal in there. You got to make sure it's actually the ash, and it has to be leached carefully. I hide scrape. Didn't I like? Oh, I brained stuff too yesterday, Ava. Yeah, I used my brain solution also. I think I even did a little bit after I checked off, after I signed off. There is a technique of using tallow to paste these skins up when they're finally done tanning that allows them to stay soft kind of, and also it gets the wrinkles out, which I'm discovering is kind of a problem when you're drying these hides. They want to like crinkle back up, especially if you use aluminum sulfate or alum, because it shrinks in those pores so much. And I don't use many chemicals. I use very few chemicals. Alum as a chemical is actually available in the desert west region of the United States. There were some native groups that used alum as their means to dry their animal furs, just a few, and it's called tawing, like not tanning, but tawing. It's a technique by using aluminum salts to shrink, tan, and preserve hides. I'm not going to scrape all day on these. We got to check our stuff in a second anyway. So wet scraping, doing a little bit every day, scudding a little bit every day, putting them back in strong tannin mixture, putting bark on top of it, layering actual bark in the mixture, right? And then doing the same thing again the next day. You can tan a hide in a couple weeks. If you don't want to be as labor intensive, you want to wait, it could take you a year, 2 years to bark tan. You have to work the hide to get it to accept the tannins to accelerate the tanning process, right? So it's very labor intensive, especially if you want it done in short order. Probably a deer hide could be done in about 2 weeks if it was, that's my estimate. If it was worked for basically a work day every day. If you have a batch of them, you'd be working all day and the same thing every day, probably 8 to 10 hours, and then boiling more and more tannins. So going back and forth between scraping, creating tannin liquor, bark liquor, and it's not alcoholic, by the way. That's just the expression for what you. This is bark liquor, right? What we have here is red oak bark liquor, and this is kind of weak looking. Of course, I'd pour more hot water on it; it would release more, right? Welcome to Dad's Workshop. I'm Calvin. Check out all the videos. I got one on that's been popular recently, or been doing pretty well recently for me. You know, it's on bending wood using making a steam bender out of PVC pipes and bending wood. That one's been getting some views recently, and I'm happy about that because I really enjoyed making that video. Unfortunately, my wallpaper steamer gave out, so I haven't gotten back to it. Getting a new one, I have to change the fittings and some of the bushings on there if I get a new one too, which kind of sucks. All right. Pretty good. Pretty good. It's getting really clean on this side to the point where it's not even a whole lot of scud anymore right here. Remember, I went through a longer process with these. If you don't know, check out my shorts. I made a couple of shorts about the process. Bark liquor with a Q, with a QU. No, Calvin did not go on a bender. I did not go on a bender. Truth is, and I don't know if I've ever said this, but I rarely drink, very rarely drink alcohol. Very rarely. Nor does Miss Heather. Neither of us really cares for the feeling of alcohol. You know, both of us had people in the house when we were growing up that really liked it. And that's probably why we don't. You know, that'll make you not like it very much. I've been doing this thing where I scrape it backwards with the dull side to get the scud off when I don't feel like leaning all the way down the beam. It's a very what do you call it? Fidgety activity. So if you can't stop fidgeting with stuff, you got the ADHD bad, and you know you need a hobby that's gonna like make you like burn some energy. You're gonna get some like I think it's like strength training to do this. Picking up the hides over and over again, squeezing them, wringing them out, which is another thing I've been forgetting to do. When it gets to the summertime, I may abandon the tanning for a little bit because the labor intensity of this activity makes it makes it really not conducive to the way this garage gets so hot. But we're not there yet, so let's wait till that time comes. Ooh, the little squirrel hide too. The little squirrel hide is done. I took it out of there today. I squeezed the squirrel hide, also clear. So I'm going to scrape the back of this tiny, see how tiny it is? It's just a little squirrel. I mean, it was a regular size squirrel, but also I didn't kill this. It was brought to me. The squirrel was brought to me. Put it like that. Not that I have a problem with hunting squirrels, because they can be too much. They eat all of my parents' strawberries. So I planted strawberries at my parents' house. I got like a nice size, like maybe a quarter acre there, where I planted strawberries. So I'm expecting tons of yield, and the squirrels there are overpopulated and just eat all the strawberries. And then you take one bite out of them and throw them too. It's such a waste. So I'm not against hunting them. I can tell you that. I got to convince my mom. So I got a little time. I think the season's till February. Sorry, guys. I mean, I do mostly roadkill, but I do have a hunting license, and I am not against animals like these squirrels, where now there's no predators. They're unchecked, and they're just like dominating the whole forest, eating all the everything, and including produce, Yeah, it's real tender. I'm going to leave this hide alone. I think it's pretty much good. Uh, little squirrel. Little squirrel. They're cute. Plant more strawberries. Well, they'll just eat more. That's all that will happen there. They'll just eat more strawberries. These hawks, these are from that hawks that I did in the dark tannins here. Hawks are the upper legs, and well, lower legs too, actually. Good for small pieces, crafts, scabbards, or like if you are an archer, these are good for that, for your non-pulling arm, for the arm that you're not drawing back the string with. If you're one of these people, like when I used to do archery, it would slap my non-shooting arm. So I needed one of these. These work really well as those wrist guards. I don't know if you ever seen archers with them right here. They're kind of the perfect shape and thickness to act as archery wrist guards. So also, the legs produce this stuff called neat's foot oil. It's a very fine, scentless oil, and really good for the final phase of tanning, but also like moisturizing. It's pretty incredible for moisturizing anything. And I have a bunch of these done too. I think I told Wes I would give him one. If you're a member and you want one of these hawks, I might be able to work something out, like to get you one. I've got a lot of long-time members that I want to show my love to for being here for so long. I wouldn't hate sending you something that you could craft something with. Oh, here's this. So this is like the upper leg. You kind of see I was showing them yesterday. This is like the back of that that leg joint on the deer, right? So you would have to have something that kind of has a pouch to work this piece, or you would have to split it out and just use the flat part. But I left the whole thing. I'm kind of careful around that little lump. I don't want to knock it off or scrape the hide through. Shout out all my members. You can become a member too by tapping that little $sign down in the corner, and there's like a little button you press and you become a member. Idaho Cody Dean, welcome. We got another person from Idaho in here. That's Pilato. 2 Idahoans in here today. Appreciate that. Appreciate you being here, Idaho Cody. Got Idaho Roy too. I love connecting people from the same home state. I want to say that, and I will take credit for it. Look at that. Pilato has been a member for 5 months. That's commitment right there. We appreciate Pilato and his regularity and support of the program. Shout out Pilato. Appreciate you, man. The other guy from Idaho is like, who from my state is named Pilato? If I told you his name was Roy, would that sound more Idahoan? Oh, that's the dull side. All right, done with that. Want to get to these big hides. These are more important than those little bits. Right here, I'm really happy with the color, the way that it's going. There's some spots. I got some grain damage here. I didn't even notice that. I don't know where that's coming from. There's a video on that. I have to watch Skill Cult's video and see if there's a way I can fix those cracks in the grain. I'm not very rough on these, so I don't know how that happened exactly, but we'll figure it out. Huh, interesting. Carrie said he's closer to her in Spokane. I didn't get the area, though. I missed that part of the chat. It could be sharp bits on the bottom of my on my post here that's causing it. Maybe I need to sand my post again, my beam. I thought I sanded it good, but there's some rough bits over here, and maybe that's what's causing it. That could be what's causing the break in grain, and I do not want that to happen. So I'll take some time with my sander today and sand down my beam again. In the meantime, though, those scratches are just going to have to deal with me doing more scudding because I have to scud and get this schmutz off. A pin. Do you remember I extracted that bone from the raccoon tail? I set that bone down somewhere at my mom's house and forgot about it. That you can make an awl out of those raccoon bone tails. That's what that made me think of. But no, I hadn't thought of using a squirrel tail for that. There's all kinds of uses for animal bones and parts. For sure. It's cool to know what they are. And if you have access to the animals, there's lots of stuff you can use. Yeah, so the raccoon has this bone in its no, it was the raccoon penis. Yeah. It has an actual bone, guys, in its genitals, the males. And I removed it from the last raccoon that I dressed. Really interesting, man. And you can make them into awls. Now I set it down somewhere around my mom's property, and I don't know where it is. I got to go back and look for it. Could have been an animal came and grabbed it. There is a guy online that does like goat scrotes, and he makes pouches, and they're pretty popular. That's what it was. It wasn't a tail. It was the penis of the raccoon. There's an actual physical bone, you know, made of bone material in there. Great question, Idaho Cody. But you can explain how you do it in the chat. We certainly would take that value to this video. We love value around here. Anytime somebody teaches us something new. It could have been when the hide was wrinkled and I pressed down on the knife. I could have put pressure on the other side of the hide and broken the grain that way. Definitely a few breaks in the grain on that side, so it's not the only one there is, but just do this, you know, a little bit every day, and eventually the scud goes away and you have a pretty clean flesh side. These are fairly young. I've only been tanning these for about a week-ish. So they already were real dark cherry red when on the second day I put them in tannins. But I put them through a series of processes. If you want to check my shorts, look at my shorts and see the processes I did. You only take 2 minutes of your time. Ralph, welcome from Western New York. Ralph Scudding. I remember people by where they're from. There's a geographical, there's a map system in my head. It's a cartographic map of all your faces, if I've seen your face. Oh, so like I was saying, I like to pride myself in like matching people's home states. So we used to have Robert G here, rest in peace, Robert G, and he is from West Virginia. And then when New Beginnings would pop in, I'd be like, oh, both you and Robert G are from West Virginia. Boom. And then they, you know, met. I'll take credit for that. Not these other guys who want to take credit for it, but I'll take credit for it because I did it. And then they hung out and they became friends, man. They're talking all the time. So people's regional location does, and I know Ava's from West Virginia also. So anyway, be friends with people. It's cool. Make new friends and keep the old. One is silver and the other is gold. And probably what I'm experiencing is partially the result of me trying to scrape all the way down the beam and it's moving stuff. So it's putting stress on the grain up here, I think. Or it's just becoming brittle. I don't know. It may be the tannins. I have no idea. I'm still learning. But you want to keep your work area up toward the top of the beam. That's my understanding. And it gets tricky because my beam's a little small. I have another piece of cedar here I cut down years ago. I made a table out of it, but the edges weren't useful. So I just kind of kept them laying around. I'm going to use that piece of cedar as a larger beam for these large hides so I can work the top of them properly. You know, pull a large section of the top to the top of my beam, lean against it, and effectively scrape the scud off. Big piece there. That's something I missed. Saw Ricker yesterday. Shout out to Ricker out there in Tennessee. See, when I see a map of Tennessee, Ricker's face is over that. Shout out to everybody in the chat. I don't know if Mike made it in today. Shout out Mike is making stuff. Shout out Wes. Shout out all the members. Shoops, I think they're still members. All the members and all the new members too. He's got Kevin. He's a new member. I think he popped in today. Became a member at the very end of last year. I think this is going to come off. I'm going to give it one more day though. That scud or that skin material there is really starting to free up, but I don't want to put too much labor into it when I can actually just soak it overnight in tannins and probably scud it tomorrow and get it off. Oh, Mims was here briefly. Well, shout out to Mims anyways, man. Appreciate Mims. Been a long time supporter of the channel. I do take attendance. I do take attendance. Only consequences for not attending are my disdain, you know, shame and embarrassment. 10 lashes with a wet noodle. I probably could make one of those pretty quickly. That's what I'm aiming to do right there. I'd rather not do a lot of work in it, just do the stuff with the thing, you know? Yeah, no, I haven't had Weston here in a few days. Well, weeks, even more maybe. Man, there's a lot of splits in this grain. Woo-hoo. We're still going to use it, man. It's still going to be leather. It smells really good though, guys. Like the smell of this, amazing. And there's like a patchouli smell in here right now too. You would think a tannery would stink. It does not stink in here. It smells like oak and patchouli. This is the biggest of those ones. And maybe the cleanest. Kind of recall this yesterday, noticing this one was cleaner than the other ones, much easier to scud. Some of you live streamers may notice that the numbers go down a little bit at the New Year's. You're not imagining things. It does happen, but it's not because you changed anything or people don't like you. It's just that everyone's pretending to exercise at the gym right now. So when they get back from their fake workout at the gym that they're going to do until the end of January, they'll start watching your live stream again. A cut? You like that? As soon as they're done with their expensive gym membership and personal trainer, not showing up for the personal trainers checking their watch at the end of January. What happened? I think they have a name for it now too. Quit-uary or something. Like February is like when everybody quits. And I was a regular at the gym, so I would like see them. They'd be taking up gym space. Be taking up the gym space, and you're on the elliptical for 2 hours. Maybe take it a little easier. Like it takes multiple days to lose the weight you want to lose. Of course, unless you just go get a prescription for Ozempic from your doctor, and then you don't have to do any work. But let me tell you this. You will look skinny and frail if you take Ozempic or any of these diabetic prescription medications that they give people to lose weight. You're not going to lose good weight. You're going to lose like weight and look like flabby. You're going to have to add muscle if you want to look good. Just losing weight, I don't know, whatever. Mike said he had to step away. Pilato said he's got to go for now. Pilato, don't say that, man. It makes other people leave. I'm just kidding. It's fine. See you later, Pilato. Pilato's got to go do accountant stuff. He's got to go balance checkbooks. Oh, he's doing taxes. That's what it is. Tax season. Pilato's, he sees dollar signs right now. I know a PhD economist that moonlights at Jackson Hewitt. True story. Where's Mike at? No sound. Yeah, I think Mike, check your mic check. Your mic check. Mike, check your thing to see if it's muted. Your phone to see if it's muted. If you're on your phone or your computer, you might hit the mute button. Friend of the program, Mike Osborne, ladies and gentlemen. I'm getting the muscle memory, I think. It's tricky, man. It is like a certain amount of pressure you have to put, and it's not little. It's like quite a bit of downward pressure, and then you have to be real smooth as you move it forward. If you move it the wrong way, you slide and put a cut in the flesh side or the grain side, depending on what you're working. This is the neck right here. The neck is always that thick, the thickest, hardest to get the flesh off of, also kind of the most difficult to scud. Oh, good. I'm glad you're hearing now, Mike. Got to go all the way to those edges so the schmutz comes all the way off. It'll stick to the hairs. You got little hairs on the edge, which probably happens to a lot of home tanners. Those hairs on the edge don't want to, the belly hairs don't want to come out. The hairs on the legs don't like to come out. The hairs on the back come out way too easily on a deer. I think raccoons hold their fur a little better. There's some animals. The muskrat I got, the fur bit or stayed in much better too. Been looking for more muskrats, man. Need more muskrats. Only got one muskrat. There's not much you can do with one. I do got 4 or 5 raccoons now, though. They are greasy, man. You have to work the mess out of them. But they look warm. They feel nice. I'll show you the flesh side on my raccoons. I'm kind of proud of it. This is the nape of the neck right here. This, I don't know what this is right now. As you may notice, I get soaking wet doing this. Very, very wet. That happens to me a good amount too. I had to exit and come back. I am back in the stream. I was just busy. Oh, good. I'm glad, Ava. Thanks for coming back. Like I said, I take attendance. Let me get this little spot right here. There's always spots I miss, and when I'm putting them in the tannin, I'm like, man, how did I miss that? This spot right here. Right here. Kind of important. Put some belly pressure on it, and then ta-da! Less breaking on the grain on this, but still, you know, slices through the grain. What did Ralph say? Tan your hide. Yep. You can't run or hide. I think I scraped all these now. Just want to make sure there's some spots. I always, as soon as I look at them, I'm like, man, there's some spots on there I want to scrape better. All right, let's take a look at our tannins. I think Ava looked this up and found out that tannins from galls are actually kind of clear. Is that the fact? And then you see the tannins from the oak bark there. This should have way, way more tannins. They're not all equal, and they're not all the same. They don't all behave the same in hides either. This is an oak gall here, and this is red oak bark. We just poured a little water on them and let them sit in there and just kind of marinate to see as an experiment what they both look like. Semi-clear, yeah, that makes sense. Get you a switch. Yeah, I was talking about that with Heather the other day. The switch thing. Oh no, it wasn't Heather. It was my brother-in-law. How Adrian Peterson, a former Viking running back, you know, who's old school and got in trouble for beating his kids with a switch, maybe a little too hard. All right, so here's one of my raccoons. It's a male, right? And you see it's nice and flat, right? And the skin is actually pretty clean. For me, this hide is like pretty clean. You see it's fairly white. Doesn't smell too bad. It smells a little meaty. Raccoon has a kind of musty smell to it, so you got to really scrape the mess out of it to get that off. Fur is still intact on the back. Very warm fur they have. The skin is thin, so if you're gonna, and BK was telling me this the other day, that there's a certain way to deal with thin skins like raccoons. She knows how to do this stuff. BK, shout out. I haven't seen her in a couple of days. I'm sure she'll be back. Yeah, that's one raccoon. That's a male. You can kind of see the size of the male. I'm really proud of how clean these are, to be honest, and how I kept the fur without a problem. This is kind of, I forget what they call it when you cut a fur off in a sleeve, but this was cut off in a sleeve, like completely. I pulled it off the animal. This is a muskrat right here. And the muskrat's in pretty good shape too. It's more rubbery. The raccoon's kind of more papery. It's a little different. A sleeve, like it came off in a sleeve, like, you know, a sleeve on. There's a name for that type of taking a hide off like that. I forgot what the name is. I want to keep the raccoon tails though. They are kind of hard. This is a better one. This may have been my last one that I did. You notice there's no like real imperfections in it. It's pretty clean, like from top to bottom, even through the tail. These are very fatty, very greasy, so they're hard to get cleaned up. Yep, but it's definitely in good shape. I'm really proud of my raccoons. Then I guess I got 3. This is a female here. This one I've done some more experimenting on. It's a little more supple. Okay, and that may be because it's a female, and it may be because I've done some other things with it. I smoked it a little further away. You can see the size difference between the males and the females too there. Yeah, so 3 raccoons, all real pretty animals, and they all got their own kind of dapple, their own kind of like pattern to their fur and so forth. Yeah, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to use some of this brain emulsion and moisturize my furs. I have a number of furs here. This one's the most stiff. This was a buck, and I like this animal a lot because it was super red. Now the bucks here, the whitetail bucks in Virginia, this is North Carolina, but in Virginia, the whitetail bucks, sometimes you can pick them out because they have more red on their fur. This one is very stiff and lumpy, so I'm going to try to work it. I might put towels on the bottom of it tonight. I don't care if it's flat, but the lumpiness bothers me, so I'm going to try to moisturize it and get it back to supple again. Now, I have a cork roll in my truck that I probably should have gotten for this, but I have a surface I can use until then. So cork is a good surface for working these hides so you don't scratch them and stuff. I have it's like a 1/4 inch thick cork roll that I have. You can also stick your hides down to it when you're trying to dry them after the tanning process is over. We do not have pine martens down here. We're too far south for those. Probably up where Pilato and Cary are, there may be pine martens. That's an animal that lives in the the mountain west in the United States, typically. Ralph said he'll be back. Well, we hope so, Ralph. Appreciate you coming anyway if you don't make it back. All right, so we're going to take this as a female raccoon hide here. It's been dressed and it's been kind of tanning for a while. There's some schmutz down there. I would put it on the beam and scrape it, but I think it's been scraped enough. I don't want to damage it. I'm going to take some brain emulsion here. And with my bare hands, right? Because you work it in with your hands. It's actually kind of good for your hands, to be honest. I'll zoom in a little bit so y'all can see. This has tallow in it too. Mike knows what I'm talking about. Deer tallow, deer fat, to try to just thicken it up a little bit, make it a little more viscous, right? So I added some deer tallow that I collected from like the inside of the hip bone. Good to know that I could wear like a summery shirt and still get a few views on here. I don't have to dress in camouflage because it's like too warm for that stuff today, man. Egg yolks, deer brain, and I put some patchouli in there for the scent. It smells awesome. And then egg yolks, deer brains, and I used this time tallow, deer tallow in there. A lot of water in there, though. I'll probably reduce my amount of water. It is a little watered down. It's okay, though. It needs that water to rehydrate the hide, and so it'll absorb any of the fats. It won't absorb fats without being like hydrated with water. All right, that's tiny. That's why they tell you to start with hides like that, because they're really easy to work. They don't take a lot of time. People lose their focus really easily. Thank you, Mike. Like I said, this is not apple juice, it's brain juice. I have, you know, I'm a beginner somewhat at this, though I have done a number of hides now, and I've been really immersed in this stuff for a couple months. I do not want my hides to come out like rawhide. You know, they get so hard, and so what I need to do is put that post up in my clamp and break them against that beam so that they can get soft again. Cool thing about tanning is you can kind of always go backwards, or usually you can go backwards. I think raccoons may be my go-to in the future, though. It takes about 40 of these to make a raccoon jacket, right? Like a fur coat. I have seen so many pretty ones. I was on my way. I had to go, you know, my boys, I can't stop and get animals off the side of the road when I'm on my way to my boys. But I saw some really nice ones that I was like, wow, these raccoons, man, they cannot stay out of the street. I always thought raccoons were graceful animals. Smells so good. A few drops of that patchouli in the brain mixture, and it turns out like smelling so good. Brain cider, said Mike. Yeah, so this raccoon came from Ashland, Virginia. So we do not know. This may be the raccoon that broke into the liquor store. I don't know if you've heard about it, but this raccoon may be, if it's not, it's his cousin, right? So good breeding there. It's a raccoon that'll break into the liquor store, knock the bottles down, and drink the liquor. So it came from and I'm gonna cut that leg off because that's, when I see it in the camera, it looks bad. This came from Ashland, Virginia, and I don't know if you recently saw it, made national news. That this raccoon in Ashland. Yeah, Carrie said it's so funny. So this is where that's where my folks live. That is where I picked this very healthy raccoon up. I showed my dad when I was dressing this animal. I was like, this is the raccoon looked like a muscle man. He had like abs and like pecs and like biceps. The dude was, I mean, I don't know. I've never seen nothing like that. It was, I've cleaned some raccoons, but he was the strongest like raccoon I've ever dressed. Now that's not that many, but it's enough to say you can kind of see by size. He's huge. Very fatty. Tons of subcutaneous fat, if that's the word. I think that's the word. But that's where this raccoon came from. So the raccoons in Ashland, apparently very healthy animals, you know. That's two. Oh, I'm going to do fur to fur here. I don't want to put. And the last one here from this area. No, that's the female. That's the male. That's the muskrat. This is the other male I got to do. Other male. There was a skunk up there. I wanted it so bad. I was afraid I would rupture that scent gland, though. I don't know that much about skunk anatomy. Yeah, as soon as Ava Rose said, you ever going to make beaver leather? Yes, as soon as I find a beaver, Ava. I have not seen one single beaver on the side of the road. Trust me, they're huge too. They look like bears. I don't know if you guys have ever seen one, but beavers are large animals, way bigger than what you see in your mind's eye. They're not the size of raccoons. They're much bigger than dogs even, I would say. Beavers are significant animals, substantial sized animals. Greasy too, but that hide is waterproof and similar to that muskrat. Harder to skin though. Yeah, what's his name? Ed Steven Ed Home on Skill Cult said that it was one of the first animals he messed up. Was a beaver hide in North Carolina that he had. And sure, he was out west, I think, like in Asheville. Is it Asheville? Yeah, North Carolina. You know, near Hickory, out west. I can't remember what it's called. Said it yesterday when Ava was talking about she was born in North Carolina or from North Carolina. Now these little orifices, these like kind of extend like up around the shoulder areas, those get dry real easily. Marmot is, I believe, like a similar to a marten, right? It's a weasel, right? Mike might know the answer to that. Yeah, check your local laws. Idaho, Cody, I can't tell you what the law is in Idaho. In Virginia, the law is you are allowed to pick up roadkill even if you didn't kill it, but you have to call the sheriff or the DWR, the Department of Wildlife Resources, and they have to come check the animal. That's protocol. I think they can give you permission over the phone to take it, but the protocol you have to follow is you have to call the local sheriff or DWR. They come out and check it, and you can take it. And you don't need a tag for it. In North Carolina, if you take roadkill, you have to have a tag. So you have to use one of your hunting tags. Basically, you have to be a hunter, right? You can't, and it's not, people say, oh, well, I'll just get my hunting license. Nah, no, you won't. You got to go through, firearm safety classes. It's a time investment. I did it, and then I did it again to help my dad get his. I wanted to be with him when he got his lifetime license. So, when you get your hunting license, you have to go through firearm safety class. It's usually at least an 8-hour course. Sometimes it's more in other states. Some states allow you to do it online. Other states, you have to be in person there. So that means that in North Carolina, you have to use one of your tags legally to take the deer. And who wants to take a deer off the road? Use a tag for they paid for hunting a deer. That's going to be a deer they know is clean to eat and so forth. Not that roadkill is unclean to eat, because often it can be just as good as stuff from the store. But if it's been sitting there and putrefying, and it's had evisceration of the guts, like the internal organs are eviscerated, you could be dealing with something that's not food safe for you. But it's kind of easy to tell when you break apart the animal whether it's good or not. I've seen a little bit of both, so I know. Now, my mother the other day said, you need to frame this around roadkill. And I said, well, you lose half your audience there because they're grossed out by roadkill. They want to know that you killed the animal. You have to be savage and kill the animal, which is not against what I do. I don't have a problem taking an animal, but I only had to do that with one of these. Roadkill is, a very renewable resource. Also, when you take like a deer and you remove parts of the deer on the side of the road, you move it to the side of the road, and you take the skin, you take the head, or whatever, you take the back strap if you're trying to scavenge food from it. You are actually leaving stuff in a safe area for the predators in the area, so they don't have to go out in the road and likely get hit by cars. So you actually bring predators to a safer area when you deposit roadkill on the side of the road. It's a fact. Likelihood would be incredibly slim, but I wouldn't mind sharing with someone who would utilize it. So yeah, so I will have to check the Idaho laws, which I will definitely do after we get off today. This is what I need though now. Somebody double tap that screen like this. Boom, you see that? 60 likes, and give me 61, because I got haters, and what they do is they come in after the live and they unlike my live stream, and they're not vegetarians. That's not who it is. It's people who eat meat. All right, let's put it like that. My haters are not people who are animal rights people. They are. Shout out to all of them. I got a lot of respect for people who stand up for their principles, even if we don't agree. These are people who are just douchebags who don't like me because they, for whatever reason, that's what they're doing. They're unliking my live stream because I don't go to their wood turning channel because they're douchebags. Hey, by the way, you can get a lathe and get 500 viewers at the same time. Did y'all know that? All I need to do is get a lathe, and I can sit down here, gain a couple 100 pounds, and play around with a lathe, and then everyone will love me, and I will I will be a complete rude a-hole to all of them. That's what I'll do. So if I see messages like those, should I remove them or not? You shouldn't. Ava, yeah, if you see somebody being rude, of course, pull them. I mean, I'll curse them out too. I don't really care. I'm not making a ton of money as a YouTuber anyway. But, you know, Robert G used to do that. Shout out Robert G up there in heaven, holding down the forest. Robert G used to tell people to, I won't say it on here. I actually can't. He was ballsier than me, I think. He would say stuff like, nah, never mind. Robert G had a way of talking to the trolls. Love that. She's completely intact. Oh, is this the deer? Hold on. Raccoon pelts right now. Irish Red said, what am I tanning? I'm tanning a whole bunch of stuff. Irish dude. I've got deer hides that I'm tanning with oak. These are whitetail deer hides right here. 3 of these. I've got a raccoon hide, raccoon leather here. This is a raccoon. North American animal. I don't know if they have them in Ireland, probably invasively. This is a little squirrel. I believe this is a gray squirrel right here. This is a squirrel hide. And then this is a muskrat that I'm about to put brain emulsion on right here. And you got a bunch of raccoons back here. This is 2 males right here. And a female. Lovely raccoon, beautiful animals. Hopefully that answers your question, Irish guy. Oh, there's a big chunk of tallow right there. Deer tallow is so weird, dude. It's like almost has membrane in it. Membranous material. I need Pilato here. Check my English. The other thing you use this tallow for, and Mike may know about this because I think they did this, like Native Americans did this stuff. You take the hide and you use the tallow to stick it down against the board when it's drying. I don't know if they did. I think that's a practice. Tallow though, like bison tallow would have been a resource that you would have really wanted to have around. I know Eskimos with their tallow, they keep their seal fat and stuff like that. Super important to them in the winter time when they have very lean animals like snowshoe hares, squirrels, caribou is super lean. Even moose is pretty lean. You need fat, and so the seal and the whale provide them with fat. Got to go back to the thing. So Carrie said, last week I saw a family of bald eagles eating a coyote they took down in the same field as that deer. Dang, I want a coyote, man. I want a coyote. I want a fox. I want a couple coyotes, actually, and I want a couple foxes. The foxes, I think, are actually more valuable than the coyote, but the coyote, personally, I want one. I just want to have one. Lard. Yep, lard would be the name for tallow from a pig, right? Tallow from a pig is lard. Tallow from other animals, I think, is tallow. Like tallow, fat from a cow is tallow. Fat from a deer is tallow, and moose, stuff like that. This is buckskin that my cousin made a long time ago, like 20 years ago. I used it as a strop for my tools for a long time. Man, I got another slice on my thumb. Whew. Cut myself yesterday and didn't notice it until later, way later. Oh, I got to do that deer hide, both those two deer hides. So let me stop slow. I'm going really slow now. Sorry, y'all. They actually sell tallow at Walmart in jars. There are people like beef producers that say, I would not buy it. Like I can't bring myself to buy something I can get for free. But I think they sell it for like cooking because there's some recipes that call for it. But you can use it for soap making as well. It's a traditional soap making technique. I do not use tallow in my soap. I never have. I always use vegetable-based ingredients in my soap. All right, this buck hide here that shrunk. So I tawed this with alum, and you see how stiff it is. It's very stiff, very, very stubborn. So I need to, like, I've been trying to work this a little bit every day. What I need to do is take a towel and wrap it in a towel. I'm afraid it'll lose the hair. That's my fear. I don't want to damage the fur. I've got that one spot on there already. I don't want to damage the fur, but I also need to stretch it out so the wrinkles will come out. Oh, Ava Rose said she's going to send 100 gift a couple times if we get 100 likes. I don't know if we'll get there today, Ava. My phone might actually die here. If my chat dies or my camera dies or gets close, I generally call it quits. Hopefully we do. It's not every day I get 100 likes. And kind of when I came back from the holidays, I figured it would be a little slow going back up. Like I said, everybody's at the gym fake working out. Oh, I think so, Ava. I agree. And then it'll save you a little money because I don't think it's going to happen for a little while. It takes a while, man. Views go up, views go down. They could go down a lot more too. I'm thankful for the views I get. So resistant. I smoked this hide, right? It's been smoked. It's been brain tanned and smoked, so it's not wanting to let the moisture in. It's very hydrophobic, very water resistant. So I'm trying to get that water to sink. I came in to check this morning, and it was so stiff. I was like, how is this a hide that I moisturized yesterday? Breaking it against this beam works a little, but I need to set my other beam up. So stiff. I think it's the alum. Alum will shrink your hide up just like a piece of beef jerky, man, that you can't eat. So many wrinkles, and they're so tight in there, man. This is why folks build frames and they put ropes on them and tie them out so that you don't end up with this. Y'all see how wrinkly it is? It's wrinkly. I mean, it's good. It's also bark tan. So I used a combination of bark tanning and brain tanning to do this. It was me experimenting. I don't like following instructions very much. I'm not an instruction follower. I like to break rules all the time. But I start usually by following instructions, and then I see what rules I can break. It's just so dry, so dry. I could probably spend a whole day on just this hide. That's how much work is in furs and leather. It's just, there's always something you can do, pretty much. Oh, yeah, Ava, do that. Do that. There we go. Ava said we're 2 likes away from 70. Let's get to that 70, folks. Double tap that screen like this. What we're doing is we're working on, this is a buck hide that shrunk a lot. It also was tanned using tannins and brain tanned and smoked, but it dried so fast, I lost control of it. So it needs to be rehydrated, stretched again, and then broken against cable or something like that. I probably need to hang a cable up. Even the hair doesn't look good on it because it's been shrunk so much. It's like a rug, right? Boom. Y'all see that? It's warm. I mean, if you were to lay this, or if you were to line this with fabric, I use the other one as a blanket and I've slept under it. The one I'm about to get out right now. It's a little more supple than this, though. It's not as stiff as that. That was a big deer to be that, to shrink to that size. This was a bigger deer, though, and it was a female, which is, see how much more supple that is? That's what I'm trying, that texture I can deal with, right? That's the texture that I want. It's soft, still kind of smoky smelling, even though I did tallow this yesterday and give it brain with patchouli in it. But now disregard the black marks, which came from metal tools, fist tools. The color is about right on this one. You know, I knew from kind of break that this was going to be a better hide than the other one. Bill Clancy, welcome, man. Welcome. This is a brain emulsion I'm using. Has brain, egg yolks, water, obviously, to suspend it, and then deer tallow, and I put a little patchouli in there for the smell, and some, is that everything? Yeah. Brain, egg yolks, patchouli, just a smidge of patchouli, and some tallow. Try to moisturize these furs I got that are kind of stiff, especially when it changes temperature, humidity. I've been keeping them with me in the house, but last night I kept them out here because I had moisturized them, and they kind of take up a lot of space. But Bill, welcome. Glad to have you here. Everybody say hi to Bill. It's like we're getting toward the end of our little run here. Now this one, if I work this against a beam, I think it'll get to the point. I'm really confident in this one as a long term, as a like a throw. It's going to be it's real comfortable. I've slept on it already. I can't sleep under it while it's wet, but as soon as I get it back to some little lumps of tallow that I find in there, I kind of just break them up with my fingers and rub them into the hide. You got several books on it, man. That's awesome. I need to get some books. There's a bunch of really classic books. I watched Stephen Edholm has a video about all of the different books. There's a couple I want to get. There's one called Blue Mountain Buckskin that I want to read. That's all about brain tan buckskin. And then there's one called The Secret of Eskimo Skin Sewing, which is all about sewing hides together, furs and hides, and also about how they preserve them up there. They have a kind of hybrid way. It's similar to the Native American way, and also goes back to the old world way of bark tanning. It's like a cross between the two. And they have tricks that make their skins really good. And they're very intricate too. I don't know if you ever looked at Eskimo skin sewing. Pretty interesting art. Definitely an art. And there are women there that still practice it and teach it to their daughters. It's an important skill for them. And this is what I think they call this silver. This is a unique hair pattern for a deer. Unfortunately, she had one spot right here that she took a hit. She was pregnant, so she was a very large deer. But this hair pattern, I believe, is called silver. It's kind of rare. Not as rare as piebald, but rare coloration pattern. It's real smooth. Yeah. I think that's referred to as silver. She was a beautiful deer. Broke my heart to see what happened to her. You know, when I take these animals, I don't take it lightly, man, especially since people just think I'm just gross and stuff. It's not about being gross. Like, now I see an animal, I see a resource, you know, over there. So I will hunt. I'm not against hunting, but I don't deer season's over. So if you're hunting deer now, anywhere I know of, you're hunting illegally. So the only deer you're going to get is going to be like this. Is that the gross one you were talking about? Oh no, the gross one is one of those ones that's been in the tannins. One of them in here, and I don't know which one it is. It was gross, and after I scudded it, and after we put it through the lime bath, and then it went into a pickling, you couldn't even smell it anymore. Wasn't even a problem anymore. Hey Bill, we welcome you, man. Make sure you subscribe. Check out the channel. Anybody else, become a member by tapping that little $sign in the bottom corner. We have, what, 15 renewing members here? That's a decent amount of members. 25 total. 10 of them are gift members, and those will expire soon. But we got 15 people in the family for this channel. That's pretty good. Join that fam. Tap that $sign and become a member. I think it's only a few dollars a month, maybe $5. I don't know. But then you have exclusive access, and I'm getting ready to start giving stuff away again. I love to do giveaways. Sub only for chat. Yes, it is sub only. You have to be a sub for 1 minute before you chat. Thank you for asking that question. So let's take a look at our tannins that we did earlier here. Not much. This is the way it looked yesterday too when I did it. Though when I agitate it, it gets a little darker. That's that one. And then this is the, let's put them near the camera so you can see. Also kind of cool to see the figure in these. Well, you can't really see it right there. You can kind of see right there though, right? Kind of like a burrow figure there in these oak galls. And then this is so that's the liquid. I'm trying to get it where the camera can actually see it here. Not too dark. It's beige-ish, right? And then this is the oak, the red oak bark right here. Definitely more of a cherry color, right? And the longer you leave hot water in there, the more kind of hot water you can soak it in. It's going to get real dark, right? And that's what I've been using to tan recently. The galls I might use a little bit, but I'm kind of scared of them because I know that you can actually over tan a little bit with those. And since they don't have good color to them, I'm going to hesitate in using them a little bit. I think I brought my whole bag of oak galls out here that I don't want to. Oh yeah, here they are. These are oak galls right here. So I got a whole bag of them. They're like burls, right? See those? Look for those in the woods. There's resources in the woods. These oak galls, if you add let's try to add a ferrous material in there. That's something we could do right now. Let's take a nail or something like that. Oh, I got steel wool. Let's do that. Steel wool. I'm going to take just a little bit of it and put it in this oak gall, because this is how our Constitution was written here in the U.S. this way. So let's see. Maybe it doesn't happen right away, but this should react to that ferrous metal and turn a very dark black. Let's see what happens. We'll leave it in there for the night. In Dad's workshop, this is the kind of stuff we do. So yes, oak galls are used to make traditional ink. It was how they made the ink for the Constitution. By the way, the Constitution also was made out of animal skin. So we have all the materials here that the Constitution was made out of: animal skins and oak galls. Oh, great. Bill Clancy said, I just started the channel a couple months ago. Now I've found a lot of great people here on YouTube. Yeah. Man, Weisenheimer. Did I say all of my materials are used for it? I said we have all of the materials, Pelato, who's supposed to be crunching numbers right now. Go back to being an accountant. Go back to doing taxes and stop being such a Weisenheimer. Yes, so we have the materials. Our Constitution, yes, our Constitution was made out of a plastic vessel. Do you want me to go get? Do I need a leather mug here to prove to you that I'm a Luddite? Am I enough of a Luddite to you there, Pelato? Do I need to go get a glass container that I blew myself in some kind of an old Jamestown glassworks factory? Or is this okay? Just kidding. It's fine, Pelato. We love you. It just went to the dentist. That's why. That's why. It loosened you up a little bit. Pelato. I'm going to take this other bark, though, and run it through the bandsaw. You know, I don't know where my lid is for that brain juice. I need my brain juice lid. Probably knocked it. Oh, I see it. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Dad's Workshop. And Pilato got the last word. That's okay. We'll allow it for today. And then maybe next time I'll get the last word. But, you know, today I didn't. So we love Pilato, longtime member. Shout out Pilato. Check out his videos too. Pilato has a channel also. Great videos on there. He went live last night. Could you boil the color out, said Ava. You're not supposed to boil these things with tannins. You're supposed to leach out the tannins using hot water. I boiled too for a minute there. Oak soup. Yep, that's true. Giveaways for members. That's true. Also, we also do giveaways for subscribers. So don't be a subscriber. Also, yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here. I hope I answered all of Ava's questions. Ava's got great questions. Yes, we will be back tomorrow. We try to stream Monday through Saturday, 6 days a week. And we love y'all. Do the next right thing. My name's Calvin. This is Dad's Workshop. For today, we're out of here. Do something with stuff.